Assalamualaikum. Topic for chapter 12 is about the business information system development.
At the end of these chapters, you will be able to first is explain an organization approach in developing business solution to solve business problems. Second, you can describe how the system approach is being used in developing solutions for a business problem. Next is you can discuss how each step in the system development life cycle is applied in the information system development. Next, you can explain how prototyping techniques can be used to improve the system development process. And last one, you can discuss the activities involved in implementing a new system. To be successful in today's competitive markets, an organization cannot rely on good management alone. Having a system to manage the tremendous amount of information in a company is a must. So therefore, acquiring the right information system to support the operation of the company becomes a challenging task for managers today. Introducing a new IT-based solution in an organization is an enormous task. Many organizations fall into the habit of relying solely on the IT department to plan, design, develop, and also implement such solution. Enterprise-wide solution requires enterprise-wide planning, development, and implementation to succeed. So almost everyone in the organization needs to be involved in the process. Organizational planning refers to the process of constantly making a systematic plan with the greatest possible knowledge of the future, executing the plan activities and monitoring the outcome of the plans through feedback. And strategic planning actually is an organizational management activity that produces fundamental decisions and actions that will shape and guide an organization in terms of who it serves, what it does, and why, with a focus on the future. So actually there are two planning methods that can be used to assist companies in sustaining and achieving the competitiveness. Okay, so the first one is scenario approach. For this scenario approach is to planning has gained popularity among managers today. So scenario planning approach first emerged following the World War II. It is a method of learning about the future by understanding the impact of the most uncertain and important driving force affecting our world. So actually this approach is where the teams of managers or planners participate in a micro world or virtual exercise. Okay, so and second one is planning for competitive advantage. So for this planning for competitive advantage, this is contrast with the scenario planning approach. Okay, this is another popular and commonly used strategic planning method that been used, okay, beside the scenario approach. Okay, in our chapter 2, we already discussed the concept of the competitive advantage. Okay, we already introduced the competitive force, right? There is new entrants, competitors, suppliers, customer, and substitute model, right? And also the competitive strategies. There is cost leadership, differentiation, focus, strategy, alliance, and innovation, as well as the value chain model for business activities. So for this planning for a competitive advantage, we use SWOT analysis. This is a common use as part of strategic planning in an organization. So what is the SWOT analysis? SWOT meaning strengths, Okay, S is strengths, W is weakness, O is opportunities, and T is threat. Okay, so this is used to evaluate the impact of each possible strategic opportunity being used in a company and its use of information technology. Okay, the SWOT analysis example for the strength. Strength is the good, the good now. Like the strong and committed IT staff, there is a relevant with learning programs. And how about the weakness? Weakness is the bad one, the bad now. So its example is no properly defined business and lack of security. Okay, next is opportunities. This opportunity meaning is the good for future. This is merging with local company with mediocre reputation, enlarging pool of expertise in the company. And the last one is threats. So threat meaning is the bad future, bad in the future. Yeah? So this is example is development of new technology, safe in consumer taste. Yeah? So this is example of the SWOT matrix of information technology organizations. For business or IT architecture planning, so this business or IT planning process is focuses on various approaches on how business and customer value can be satisfied. So the planning will then lead to the development of strategies and business model for new e-business and e-commerce platforms, process, product, and service. Okay, so both the Chief Executive Officer or CEO and Chief Information Officer or CIO of the company must manage the development of the IT strategies and application to meet their business and also the customers' value vision. Okay, actually this business or IT planning consists of three major components. The first one is strategic development. This involves developing strategies that can support a company business vision. Example of these strategies that will be creating or adopting an e-business system that focuses on customers or add value to the business process. Second is resource management. So this involves developing strategic plans for managing or outsourcing a company's IT resources. An example of these strategic plans include managing all the hardware, software, and also the IT personnel. Last one is the third one. The third major component is the technology architecture. This makes strategic IT source that reflect the IT architecture design to support a company's e-business and e-commerce initiative. So this includes choosing the right vendors and the type of solution to support the business strategic vision. Okay, next is about information technology architecture. This is referred to a blueprint or a conceptual design that is created based on the strategic business or IT planning. So the conceptual design includes the following major components. First is a technology platform. This refers to the various type of network such as the internet, intranet, extranet, and others. This is also including the system, computer system, system software, integrated application software that can be used to support the strategic use of the information technology to support e-business, e-commerce, or other business or IT application. Next is data resources. This refers to many types of database and data warehouse which are used to store the data and information resulting from any business transaction. The third one is application architecture. So this refers to integrated architecture of enterprise system that support strategic business initiative as well as cross-functional business process. This example should include support for developing new business solution, such as the implementation of an enterprise resource planning or customer relationship management system. Last one is IT organization. This refers to the organizational structure of the information system function within a company and the distribution of information system specialists in order to meet the changing strategies of business. For implementation challenges, it can be viewed as a process that carries out the plan that you have done in the business or IT strategies. So it can also be viewed as a process that is being applied to affect an outcome. Yeah. So no matter which way you look at it, implementation is doing what you have planned to do. So for the implementing the new business IT, it requires managing the effect of major changes being introduced in key organizational dimensions that may arise as the cause of the new system implementation. So for planning for a successful implementation of a new system, this is just as important as the implementation itself. There is much more to implementation than just getting the new system installed. And for the end user resistance and also the involvement, this is common to face resistance from people affected every time when we introduce new ways of doing things. So, and one of the key to solving the problems of end user resistance to new information technologies is proper education and also the training. So this end user development has been identified as one of the key factors that reduce end user resistance. For the change management, it is quite necessary in order to reduce or minimize the resistance. So the most change management process contain the following three phases. The first phase, phase 1, is preparing for change. For preparing for change, there are preparation, assessment, and also the strategy development. Okay. So the phase 2 is managing change. Yeah? Phase 1 is preparing for change. Phase 2 is managing change. For this managing change is detailed planning and change management implementation. So the responsibility for managing change lies with management and executive of the organization. Okay, they must manage the change in a way that employees can cope with it. And the third phase, the last phase is phase 3, is reinforcing change. So this is there is a data gathering, corrective action, and also the reconnection. This is feedback from employees is a key element of the change management process. For information system development, when the system approach of problem solving is applied to the development of information system solution for a company, it is called information system development. So the system approach to problem solving view the entire business process as a system to first recognizing or defining a problem. This is recognize that it exists. Yeah? So second one is developing and evaluating alternative solutions. So what are the different ways to solve this problem? Okay, sorry. And next is selecting the best solution. So we have to decide which alternative is best from this for this solution, yeah, for this step. And then designing the selected solution. So design the system for the chosen solution. And last one is implementing and evaluating the solution. put the solution into effect and monitor the result or the outcome. So this problem-solving approach can be applied to information system. For system development life cycle, it is a set of activities used to build an information system. The activities can be grouped into a cycle of sequential phases. We call it as Systems Development Life Cycle, or SDLC. So the life cycles include of the system investigation, system analysis, system design, and also system implementation. Last is system maintenance. So the SDLC serves as an effective roadmap for the project team that helps to track the status of the project. This is the figure for the system development life cycle. So start with the investigation, and then we do the system analysis, system design, and then do the implementation, and last one is the maintenance. So for the system investigation, this is the planning stage where a project request or project proposal is submitted. So a steering committee will evaluate and assess all possible system development that a firm may undertake. And the feasibility of proposed system can be evaluated in terms of 5 categories. So the first one is operational feasibility. So this operational feasibility, it measures how well the proposed new system fits the company. It is measure of how well a proposed system solves the business problem and take advantage of the opportunities identified during the planning. Okay, are the staff ready to learn and use the new plan to replace the existing business process? Or does the system improve the existing process? So this is operational feasibility. Second is technical feasibility. So this feasibility considers the technical requirement of the proposed project. Okay, it measures the current technical capability of the organization. So can the idea be implemented using existing software and hardware, or can they be upgraded to provide the level of technology necessary for the new system? Next is economic feasibility. So it analyzes the assessment to determine the benefits and savings that are expected from a proposed system and compares them with costs. So does the organization have the money to build, test, and maintain the system? Or is the proposed system generating higher returns than the development and operational costs of the system? And next is human factors feasibility. So of course this is about the human. It focuses on the most important factors of successful system implementation, which is for the user. Okay, does the organization have enough manpower to conduct the project, or how will the managerial role change with the new system? Okay, and last one is legal or political feasibility. So this feasibility concerns any legal ramifications resulting from the implementation of the new system. Does the proposed project comply with the relevant legislation and regulation, or what will the responsibilities of the CTO be once this new system is implemented? So the system proposal is a document that contains feasibility assessment of multiple alternatives. For next is the system analysis. So this phase discover why a system should be built by identifying of the goal and objective. So the system analyst studies the existing system and carries out the following activities. So the first one is study how the current works using data and information gathering techniques. And then second one is determine user requirement, like finding out the needs and wants of potential system user, and also recommend a solution. So the solution is logical design or logical model. Okay, so the logical model can be thought of as a blueprint of the current system. Okay, it only discusses what the system does and ignoring how it does it. Okay, so a prerequisite to conducting analysis is data gathering. So various techniques can be used to gather the necessary data. So this is data gathering technique. So the first is review documentation. So organization keep documentation of existing system for future references. This include organization chart, minutes of meeting, and also the memo. And the system analyst can learn from the document the history of the system, its operation, weakness, and the strength. Second one is observation. So analysts observe the daily operation and analyze the opportunities to improve existing business process. And the third one is interview. Analysts interview the clients and end user to clarify and probe for more information through open-ended question. Next is survey. So analysts distribute questionnaire to end user. So this advantage of this method is can reach many individuals for feedback. Okay. Next is joint application design. So in this JAD, representatives from various departments are encouraged to contribute ideas for analysis. So JAD can be very productive but difficult to organize. And last one is research. So analysts study research literature such as journal, proceeding, and magazine. In the design phase, the team develop a physical design of the system. Okay, so system design consists of 3 activities. There is interface design, data design, and also program design. So for interface design, it describes the appearance, user interactives, and link so that user can move through the system and perform intended tasks. Okay, so the 2 types of interface design are a layout chart and mock-up interface. Meanwhile, for program design, describe the procedural detail to be coded. So design phase identifies common routines, interface program, and utility program. Example is include data validation, date validation, search utility, and send or receive routine. So program design can be described using design tools such as decision table and also decision tree. And also during the design phase, the development process is often done using the prototyping approach. So for this is the development process. A prototype is a working model of the system with limited functionalities. It is used as supplemental technique to allow the user to evaluate developers' proposals and try them out before implementation. So there are several software prototyping types. First is rapid prototyping. So this prototype is used to gain a clear understanding of the requirement. Evolutionary prototyping, an actual functional prototype, is developed from the beginning as the core of the system. Next is incremental prototyping. Multiple functional prototype of the various subsystems are built. So last one is extreme prototyping. So this form of prototyping is used in web development. And the first phase contains a basic prototype of static web page using HTML and a logical data model that support the page. And the second phase uses coding in a chosen web framework to program fully functional screens on a simulated surface layer. Okay, so finally the surface will implement it. This one is system implementation. So for system implementation begins after user acceptance of the system. So the implementation activities first is acquisition of development of software and hardware. This is a major activity during the implementation phase. So in the case of acquiring hardware from a third party, most large firms and government agencies will formalize the requirement through a view type of document. Okay, so for this acquisition of hardware and software needed to support the new system. So a few type document for this formalized requirement is, the first one is request for information atau RFI. This is a standard business process document to collect information about capabilities offered by supplier. Next is request for proposal or RFP. This is a standard business process document to invite proposal for detailed solution and pricing from potential vendor. And last is request for quotation or RFQ. This is standard business process document to invite supplier to bid on specific product or service. So for the second activities is data conversion. For data conversion, this is implementing new system. Usually involves replacing the current system, which also includes database. So data conversion is one of the most important activities in system implementation. Okay, so for example, installing a new system may require that all the company's data be moved into a new database that come with the new system. Okay, so for this, data conversion may involve correcting incorrect data, filtering out unwanted data, and consolidating data from several databases and organizing data into new data subset, data mart, and data warehouse. Okay, and then for the end user training. For end user training, this is fit-out implementation activities. So for the information system personnel or consultant must ensure that the end user are trained on how to use the new system or the implementation will fail. So this knowledge should be supplemented by training program for any new hardware device, software package, and their use for specific work activities. Okay. Next is conversion strategy. So system conversion puts the new software into operation. An enterprise may have an existing running system. So the old system will be shut down and the new system will take over. So this conversion is critical because it costs time and money and can affect the productivity. So the IS component must be considered in any conversion. These conversion strategies will help enterprise migrating systematically from the old to a new system. Like data from the old system need to be converted in order to be compatible with the new system. Okay, so next is documentation. For documentation, there are include report, diagram, program, and other deliverables. There are two types of documentation. First is user documentation. It is prepared for end user. And system documentation is prepared for information system specialists. It contains the detail of system, design, program, code, system flow, and data dictionary. For user documentation, it also completes a description of the system written from the user point of view. It contains details of how to use the system and major error message. Next is outsourcing and offshoring information technology and information system. So, an increasingly popular approach to managing IT and IS function is outsourcing and offshoring. Information technology outsourcing is an alternative solution to in-house development. So it frees a company to focus on its core business. Okay, and in offshoring, a business moves all or some of its activities to another country. So when the costs of running a company are cheaper in another country, the company may choose to move their activities or office abroad to reduce the cost. For summary for this chapter, so we already learned the organization approach in developing business solution to solve business problems, system approach in developing solution for a business problem, system development life cycle applied in the information system development, prototyping technique used to improve the system development process, activities involved in implementing a new system, and different type of system conversion strategy. Next is evaluation factors in acquiring new hardware, software, and IS service for the newly developed system, other system development approach, choice of IT application, IT platform, and IS system development method by global enterprise, and fundamental concept of outsourcing and offshoring. So that's all for this chapter. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.